G'day guys, welcome back to the channel. So obviously last video went out to Joe's, did a few things on the car, sort of getting it ready for next week's no prep. It's Monday, Easter Monday, back at work, got some stuff to do to the car. So a couple of loose ends I sort of left off. Flex sensor's still not working. Some of the wiring under the dash could be a little bit neater. Also the handbrake light is still stuck on. A couple of little things, I wouldn't mind setting the dash up a little bit better, just having a good look over the tune, cleaning up anything that might be not set up perfect. Make sure all the units in the dash and everything are all correct, like just all the stuff that sort of takes time to get right over time that I've sort of ignored. You know, the priority is getting it functional, just polishing it a little bit in this video. So, you know, like the battery cable in the boot is a little long. I might cut that shorter and recrimp a terminal on it and just route it a little bit neater. Just all those little things that I sort of was running out of time and just rushed on the last couple of videos. So anyway, first project to tackle, let's get this handbrake on the dash light working. It just says the handbrake's on even when it's off. So let's just see if I've messed the switch up or something. If it's not the switch at the handbrake, it's probably the pin into the dash. So if it's, yeah, we'll start looking at the switch first and then work our way up. So what I mean here is I've got the handbrake off right now. Park brake light, still on. The voltage doesn't switch, obviously, otherwise it would turn off. I'll get a torch out and see what we can see. I think this cover comes off. If not, I'll have to pull the seat and really look at it. All right, just gave that a good old tug. She came out. So I seem to recall that these break if you do that, but nothing felt like it broke. Or if it is already broken, it was already broken. So let's have a good look at this switch. Probably be impossible to film, but I'll have a look at it and try and work it out, and then I'll show you what I found. Okay, I'm suddenly way more confused than I was. Handbrake light's off, handbrake's off. If I pull it, it goes on. I think it just wasn't going down enough. There, if it's up on the first click, it's on. If I push it, it goes off. Got a little bit of lag, but it does seem to be working, because I thought maybe I broke one of the wires, and so I disconnected it first and it's off. So it needs to be connected to work. So obviously when it touches, it shorts to ground. I'm assuming it just shorts to ground through the switch. I don't know. Anyway. Oh, actually, that'll be it. That got squished. That has copped a whack. That has been sandwiched in here. It's got the knurl in it. So I'll just cut it and put a crimp on it and just extend it a little bit, get rid of that busted wire. So obviously it must not have been connecting properly or something, I don't know. Anyway, that's probably the case. Switch seems to be working, so I'll fix that and reroute the wire and then make sure it works. Got the crimp on just to reconnect it. Now looking at this, it's pretty obvious. I was only looking at that side where it got squished. Other side, bare wires sticking through. You can just see the copper coming through. Would have just been earthing directly to here and causing the light to stay on. So nice easy one. Let's just get that heat shrunk and reconnected. Beautiful, heat shrunk down, nice and protected. I really like these crimps. I mean, they're not the most slimline, but they are really quite strong and protective because of the dual wall heat shrink built into them. Not really sure how I managed to get that stuck in there last time, but for some reason the switch wiring went that way, whereas now it all fits forward. That comes out of the carpet there, and that's going to the switch. That's plenty of clearance now, so I can get the bolts in without destroying it. Now, just to confirm everything works, handbrake's off, handbrake's on, handbrake's off, handbrake's on. Beautiful. All right, now that we've got the handbrake light working, next thing on the chopping block, when I was trying to get the bump working, I sent Bill my file so he could have a look. And he was asking a lot of questions like, why do I have a generic output for starter enable, where someone set it to gear is equal to P or N as a generic, when that is literally a tick box. So I don't really know why that was like that. It was like that when I got it. So we're just going to turn that one off. And then we're going to make sure the car still starts. I assume it has something to do with the fact that these were just micro switches, but like, they were never assigned in the ECU as park or neutral or anything like that. So it's literally just a dumb switch anyway. And I think I don't even need to have like this enabled, but we'll see we'll just make sure the car still starts. We are in park. All right, so yeah, works as is. We did just get an engine light. That is probably battery related. Yeah, this battery is not loving life, this Optima yellow top. I have just changed some of my warnings. I've got it oil temp low to come up and a little bit see-through, just till 60 degrees, just so I don't do anything stupid while it's cold. It's just one of the other things I'd sort of just done off camera. I've also just noticed I have done, this one was me, all right? So launch control, enable vehicle speed validation, max vehicle speed 5. I've also got a generic condition, vehicle speed less than 5. So that can go. So we're just going to reallocate that as launch switch. It is that one. We want this one. So that's now just going to be, let's give that a reset. I do also have the coolant temp. So obviously launch state is coolant temp's too low. Let's just change that to 10. Throttle, pedal, position, too low. Launch switch off. Because what I've been trying to do is get a launch switch on the dash here. You can kind of just see it right there. So let's go launch on. All right, pedal position too low. On. It still doesn't work though. So launch is on. I don't know how to make that change. Might need to look at the dash again and see what's going on. So I've just added it as, you know, add a element or add component, and it's set as launch. Let's go launch control state, maybe not input state. So technically if I go, sweet, awesome. So I was messing around with it before I realized that I had temperature conditions as well. So that's why it was never working for me, or TPS. So now I know if I go to launch and I go foot flat and get on the trans brake and I don't see that on the dash, I know I haven't pushed my button. Because nearly every time I go to an event and the first pass, I forget to turn on launch control. So nice good idiot light for me there. If that's on, we're going to launch. If that's not on, we're not going to launch. Sweet, that's easy. So yeah, to do that, if you want to do that on your car, you basically, like if you want to put an indicator here, you go add component. And then I just chose indicator. Once you're in here, you can then choose images, and you've got, you know, whatever I've added, but then it's also all these generic ones. So I could do a cruise control indicator. I've been wanting to do a cruise control indicator for a while, but not knowing how to do it. So now that I've got that launch one working, I might make one for cruise control active. So I'm just playing around, setting up my fuel pressure data logging stuff a little better. I make my own little windows. Let's focus fuel pressure data logging. So here is my information for fuel pressure. So RPM, map, pressure difference minimum, fuel pressure expected, TPS, intake air temp, battery voltage, and injector duty cycle. Then up here I've just got HCO1 current, HCO2 current, and then the states and the duty cycles. So override the fuel pump, we see they turn on and their current is the same. So good to see both pumps are about as healthy as each other. So you just sort of keep an eye on that. I guess if the pumps start struggling, the current will go up, using about 10 amps to sort of run. So we'll keep an eye on that. You know, if one day they're 12 amps or something's going on, they're probably not looking too healthy. Anyway, we'll save that page now as we've made some changes to it. So right click, save page. And then I've got in Google Drive, I've just got my folder that has all my stuff. Software pages, fuel pressure data logging. Let's just change that one to PD16 so that I know when I saved it, that's current with a PD16. Done. Let's save that now. Override it. And now if I ever go to a different laptop or anything, I can just open that in Google Drive and I have all of my stuff ready. One of the other things I wanted to clean up, obviously, was a lot of these generics. So I've now only got one generic condition, which is bump creep, which I'll change to just bump because I'm not going to use creep. Just call it bump box. 2 conditions, cruise pin greater than 2.9 and less than 3.1. So we'll push this top one and both conditions are true. Well, that's working. I don't know if that was in shot, but I had my camera hooked onto my sun visor. Very awkward. Anyway, hopefully that worked, but and hopefully you could hear the trans brake cycling. All right, next thing I'm going to be testing is flex sensor. Obviously not reading, so I've got myself some pins. I'm just going to start with continuity testing all 3 wires just to make sure I didn't damage anything in that loom. So I've got this wire to red wire, so 12 volt, and then I'm going to put my multimeter at the other end at 12 volt in the bay. Right, so 12 volt in the bay, we have continuity. Now I'm just going to repeat that for the next 2. All right, signal ground, continuity, and signal output, continuity, beeping. So I know that part of the harness is good. We're going to work our way backwards now. All right, so I just double checked everything. Pink and red is my HCO1, which goes to 12 volt, which is what we want. Gray with orange or brown, one of the 2, I can't tell, to white, which is what we want, and black with a white stripe to black, which is exactly what we want. I'm just going to go to the bay and put into the 12 volt connector and go key on, make sure I've got 12 volt all the way to the sensor. If that's the case, it's either an issue with the sensor or an issue with the signal ground or with the signal. So I'll also make sure that I have got SPI1, make sure it's not set to an AVI or something dumb, and make sure I didn't get these confused, which is highly possible, but unlikely, because I'm pretty sure they're all different colors. But anyway, maybe the signal ground's not directly connected or something, I don't know. Anyway, I'll just work it out. I'll go, worst case, I'll have to undo the plug at the PDM, just confirm that I have continuity through the loom, because I was pulling wires out of it. I might have actually damaged something. Make sure that the pins for the SPI1 and for the signal ground are fully connected. If I've got 12 volt, then if those pins are good and I have allocated it correctly, pretty sure the sensor's gone bad. Okay, so checking 12 volt pin. Earth is just hanging on that earth. 11.8, definitely have 12 volts, happy there. So now I'm going to check continuity back to the pin out on the actual PDM. All right, just quickly rip the head unit out, which is good because this can obviously all stay. I only had 2 bolts in and the top bolt, so I'm just going to pull the 34 pin plug out. I can also pull this USB cable out because all it's there for is just update the firmware so it can go. It doesn't need to be there. That was actually my dash cable, and it can go back into my glove box and be used on the dash if I ever need it. All right, so here's the 34 pin. I've got that into pin 11, that's 10, then 11, signal ground. See there, signal ground. The second one in on the second row, second one in on the second row. Signal ground. Get my other probe, go to my plug. Signal ground is far right. Again, not going to be easy to do one-handed, but here we are. Alright, we've got continuity for signal ground. Guess the only thing left to check is the SPI. That is now that pin there, which is, it goes signal ground, then 5 volt, then skip 1, and then SPI 1. So it should be 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, which is confirmed by looking at this. Signal ground is 11, 12 is 5 volt, skip 1, 13 doesn't exist. It's for this ignition switch stuff, and then 14 is SPI 1. So do we then have continuity to our middle wire? I'd be very surprised if we don't. And if we don't, I've somehow damaged it. All right, we have got continuity to our middle wire. So somehow this flex sensor has died. I'll go through again and just double check settings, but it's looking like the ethanol content sensor has died. I just thought for a moment, hang on a second, am I the dumbest idiot on earth? Have I actually allocated it to the SPI1 of the ECU? But no, pin 14, SPI1, grey and brown. Falling, if you set it to rising, it complains. Hall effect, pull up enabled. I've tried enabled, disabled, it does not work. So I think we've just got a bad sensor. I don't know how to test a sensor, short of, you know, wiring it and running fuel through it. But yeah, did used to work. I'm just gonna go ahead. I have just enabled it as flex fuel. I did have the fuel tuning set as 80% ethanol at one point. Yeah, so I don't know. Wonder if it works if you run the fuel pump. No, makes no difference. It's calibrated correctly. 50 hertz is 0. 150 is like 98 will usually be about 52, 53 hertz, about 2% ethanol. The fact that it's 0 means the sensor's not pulsing at all. And I know I've got 12 volts out of that generic because we have enabled it as a generic output here. Condition settings equal to active. Wiring, she's outputting, she's on and outputting. It's not pulsing or doing anything weird. Because also it's our trans brake, so if I hit trans brake, it adds current to that. I still don't know what's going on there. I assume the sensor's bad. So I'll either buy a new sensor or just delete it entirely because I've never run this car on 98 and don't really plan on it. So it's not a high priority, but I mean, if I have it, I'll use it. But like I said, she don't seem to be working. None of this would affect it. I don't know if that would affect it. The glitch filter, let's just go to 0. Okay, still on. Just reset the ECU. So it was just this was set to, it was originally set to petrol ethanol blend at 80%. So we've just gone back to that because obviously flex sensor's not working. So it would have thought I was on 91 and it would have pumped in a little bit less fuel and it would have been lean as shit and I would have got real confused. So back to that, done. All right, I think I'm pretty much done for the day. The wiring back here is actually quite neater than I thought I had it. I'll just maybe have another quick look at that CAN wire. So the wiring under here is probably about as neat as I can get it for now. Anyway, it does look pretty bad right now, but once everything's sort of plugged back in, it's not too bad. I'll probably end up extending and shortening some of these CAN wires at some point, but I'll wait until I get my label maker's heat shrink labels so that I can label everything and make it a little bit neater. And I'll go ahead and heat shrink labels on all this sort of stuff too. All right, so that probably concludes the stuff under the dash. Just going to jump in the boot now and shorten the battery cable for the PD16, the negative cable. So get that a little bit neater and that will probably wrap us up for the day. All right, so the battery just got a little low, so just put a charger on it. So just going to shorten this cable, run it under the carpet. Just a little bit neater. It just was a little bit of a rush to get done, so gonna go get myself a new terminal and undo this and hook her on. All re-crimped, routed neatly under all here. Might just get that just a little smidge neater under that. Beautiful. OEM Plus. That is gonna wrap up today. Righto guys, that's gonna wrap up the video for today. So hopefully someone watching has learnt some things or two. Hopefully someone else in the comments can tell me what I did wrong. Maybe I can learn some more shit, I don't know. Really don't know what I'm doing with the PDM especially, and I basically don't know what I'm doing with Haltech either. Learning as I go. So next Saturday, gonna change the oil, and Sunday gonna be racing at Lakeside. So I'll see you there, and I'll see you on the next video.